Welcome to the 31 Nights of Macoween. Every night during the month of October, I will review a scary movie. Come and join if you dare.
You let us down, Jed. It's okay. Family's always here for you. Remember that.
Leatherface is a 2017 American horror film directed by Julianne Maury and Alexandre Bostello. Written by Seth M. Sherwood and starring Stephen Dorff, Vanessa Grace, Sam Strike, and Lily Taylor. It is the 8th installment in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise and works as a prequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre released in 1974, explaining the origin of the series' lead character, Leatherface. So I already covered the last main title, Texas Chainsaw film, in the 2013 3D dumpster fire yesterday, so I figured why not cover this film. It's an origin film that not too many people are aware of because it was straight to streaming and DVD back in 2017, and that would be this movie, Leatherface. It's an origin film that many would think would be an unnecessary entry into the series, especially since we kind of had an origin movie in the 2006 Texas Chainsaw Massacre New Beginnings, I think, the one with Jordina Brewster. But it turns out it's one of the better films in the franchise. Leatherface is a film that I enjoyed watching very much. Starting off with the performances, the cast did a good job with their roles. Sam Strike as a young Leatherface was off at first because you wouldn't think Leatherface was this charming, young, strapping lad who was good with the ladies when he was younger, but near the end of the film, he morphs into the role perfectly. I can totally see him becoming Leatherface in that sense. The plot was a bit dull, and I blame that on the writing. A majority of the scenes are just exposition fill and don't really help the plot, and slows down the pacing of the film at very inconvenient times. It was just very annoying to watch throughout the film. And the last thing I want to talk about this is the violence and the horror in this film. Unlike the trash that was Texas Chainsaw 3D, they actually handle a lot of the horror and violence in a very unique art house type of way. This is a very art house-like Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, and I'm all for that. They still have a lot of tropes of horror films, but it's very creative with it, and I can really appreciate that. Overall, Leatherface is a very low-key entry in the series, but it's good. Although it may not be the flashiest of the series, it does a good job of standing out on its own, expanding the lore around an iconic horror legend. Here's hoping the Netflix movie coming out later in October 2021 can hold up to this film and be a good main entry into the series. And I'm going to give Leatherface a 6 out of 10.